Bourbon, Broncos, and No B.S. Fans, brews, and Broncos news.
What's up, Broncos country? Welcome to game day, week 3 of the preseason. The Broncos' last chance to get an idea of who they're going to get on their 53-man roster. That decision has to be made no later than Tuesday afternoon, and this is just going to be a really fun game to watch, guys. So post your comments, post your questions. I'm glad you're here. There's a ton to talk about. We're looking at a number of different storylines, a couple key players that are really fighting to make the roster. And unfortunately, just the name of the game, the way it works, there's a lot of guys on that 90-guy roster right now that this will be their last time ever setting foot out on a football field. So, you know, tip of the hat to all those guys to at least making it to the pro level, having a chance to fight to get on an NFL team. That's something that most people cannot say all in itself. So to all those people that are going to get cut here soon and just unfortunately not get picked up by anyone else looking for a different type of career this time next week, guys. It's sad, but it's the name of the game, and we've got to move on and get ready for what this championship level, potentially level team is going to look like. So hit the share button for me, guys, and let's get ready for it because this is going to be a good one. You know, preseason is the time for us to be able to sit back and just enjoy the game without any real stress, without any real concern. If things go terribly, you can always fall back on, it's just preseason. It's okay. There's no worries, right? But then in about 2 weeks' time, things matter, right? Our blood pressure skyrockets through the roof. Our heart rate basically does not go down until the end of the season. So this is it, guys. This is the last chance to be able to sit back and just truly enjoy seeing the Broncos play. Fajri, if I said your name wrong, I am very sorry. But I am glad you are here, and go Broncos indeed. What things are you guys looking for today? Let's start with the running back battle. This has probably been the biggest battle for us to watch out for during training camp and the whole preseason so far. You know, we got J.K. Dobbins as running back 1. That's more or less set in stone. R.J. Harvey, we know, is going to be right at J.K.'s heels, nipping at him, so that as soon as R.J. is ready, and hopefully it's not by necessity that he has to go out there as a starter, but when he's ready, I'm thinking halfway through the season or later, RJ can be the number 1 running back, with JK kind of taking a more laid-back approach to more just preserve him from getting injured again. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. So now we're looking at, man, who is going to get that third running back spot? Is it going to be McLaughlin? Is it going to be Bidet? And then what do we do with Blake Watson and `Естime? These names, it's going to be interesting. You know, I think McLaughlin, from my point of view, has the edge to get that third running back spot. But we also know that Bidet has shown a lot of potential. He's shown flashes. You know, before he got injured last year, we saw that he looked promising. And then for some reason, you know, we can go back again to the playoff game we had last year, where for some reason, we have no idea why, `Естime gets benched in place of Tyler Bidet. And so is it, you know, I think we've been looking at this of, has Естime done something wrong? Did he do something wrong to get on Sean Payton's bad side, right? Like, we don't know what was going on there, but was there a different angle to this? Maybe it wasn't so much Естime did anything wrong, but it was we believe in Tyler Bidet more just because of what good things Tyler Bidet is doing, right? So then you look at this battle here between McLaughlin and Bidet, and you got to wonder, is there something that Tyler Bidet is doing behind the scenes in those closed door practices and meetings and everything that is going to elevate him to maybe a position above McLaughlin. Me personally, I don't see that, but you just got to wonder, based off the performances here through the preseason so far, who's going to make that cut. And then you just got to look at Blake Watson and Audric Estime, and that's when that, is Estime even going to be on this team? Is he going to be somebody that teams want to trade for? Or are they going to just try to see what they can get, if they can get him off the waiver wire should the Broncos cut him? So let's get to some of the comments here, guys. And also, don't forget, head on over to our website, broncosandbourbon.com. We got our game day chat open there. Go on over there, sign up for free, really quick, simple sign up, and then head on over to the fan zone where you'll see the game day chat. And whether you're able to watch the game or not, or you just want to interact with Broncos fans during the game and just share your thoughts, this is the place to be, guys. One centralized game day chat over at broncosandbourbon.com. Let's see. Oh, I started the wrong show. This is why we call it preseason, guys. This is why we call it preseason. We're going to see if I can update this on the fly. Probably not. The tailgate talk is going to now, is going to be the halftime show. Man, that's a little embarrassing, but thank you for calling me out on it. Oh man. Anyway, guys, this is not halftime. This is the pregame show. Let's get to it anyway, guys. Let's go back to the talk of the running back battle and what you guys think going on here. Let's see. Jerry's in the house. How you doing? I feel silly. First thing Saturday morning here. I don't even know what day it is. Good Lord. Ken says he fumbled too much. Audric Estime. So that was part of the problem initially, right? What we saw is that he did have a couple fumbles early on. And it's kind of like, well, he's a rookie, right? I mean, it's a big stage and you expect rookies to make a mistake. Now, is that enough to completely just push Audric Estime away? There's got to be something else there, because Sean Payton is this guy that can really bring out the best in his players, really build the players up, knows how to coach them well. And so if it's simply just a couple fumbles early in the season from a rookie running back, is that it? Is that really all that there was? Or is there something else behind the scenes? Now, maybe that is what kind of played into the game day decision of the playoff game last year against Buffalo, was who do we trust more? And it goes back to, maybe Audric didn't do anything wrong. It's just, who do we trust more? And now that Bidet was back at that point, that's why they elevated Bidet. I don't know. Yeah, but we haven't really given Audric a full chance. And when we did give him the chance, we saw at the end of last season, he was doing much, much better. So I don't know, guys. It's interesting for sure. And I wish I had been on the fly on the wall for some of those conversations, just so that still feel silly, just so that we can know, right? Because that's the biggest thing, is what is going on here. Jerry, so let's see, what is the game on today? I think it's on local Fox channels. Let's see. I really need like a producer running in the background to like do this for me, but that's okay. We can multitask. That's fine, guys. Let's see. Well, I know I got it up here on the text I got. Yeah, so this is on NFL Plus, if you wanted to stream it there on your mobile. And it's also on local 9 News, channel 20, I guess, or whatever. So wherever you get that, it's unfortunately, because it's preseason, they're only local games, right? But we're going to be here for the actual halftime show, which is currently labeled as the tailgate talk. It's confusing today, guys. That's okay. So we got preseason. But yeah, so local channels, looks like Channel 9 News in Denver is the place to watch it. So otherwise, if you have NFL Plus, you can stream it there. Also, what does it say? Oh, you can also stream it on the Broncos app. So go download the Broncos app as well. And before you download the Broncos app, go sign up at broncosandbourbon.com, because that's the real cool place to be if you want like awesome, fun fan interaction things and whatnot. So, but glad you're here. Let's see. Jose, NFL Network. I don't know if I don't see NFL Network listed here, but it might be worth checking. And it could be something they show later on today as well on NFL Network. So, but Jose says 2 weeks away. Can you believe it, guys? This offseason feels like it took forever, but at the same time, it feels like it flew by. We are 2 weeks away. Bo Nix is going to be the start. Yep. And Sam Ehlinger will be the third starting back. We completely expect that as well. No issues there. But we did good the last 2 games for the preseason. It starts week 3. Bo Nix starts in a little bit first 2 quarters. Bo Nix isn't even going to play the first 2 quarters. The Broncos offensive starters are going to get probably 10 to 12 plays. If the first series is a 3 and out, they're going to go out there for the second series, right? If the first drive is a very long, successful touchdown drive, they're done. They're done. This isn't, we've seen already several really terrible injuries, and our hearts go out to the players that just got terrible injuries during the preseason, across the league there, because that's just, and the Broncos suffered one themselves. A depth player, he was an offensive lineman guy. He's done for the season, and it was like week 1 of preseason, he goes down with a bad knee injury, and that's it, right? So when it comes to football, guys, like these starters do not need to be on the field any more than they absolutely need to. And it's more or less been said that the starters in today's game, at least for the offensive side of the ball, they're going to get 10 to 12 plays. Maybe if things look really bad, they might get a little bit more. But if you see them playing into the second quarter, it's probably not a good thing. That means something is looking really bad, and Sean Payton wants them to get out there and work it out in the game. But I don't think that's going to be the issue here. These guys are continuing to grow and build and learn, and we're just going to be looking to see how they execute on those basics, right? How does Bo Nix look when he's taking his dropbacks? Does he overthrow or underthrow the ball? Is he able to hit his target on more of those deep passes? What about blocking? What's the blocking looking like? The little things like that. So we're not looking at scheme. We're not looking at the development of the play. We're not looking at the play itself. We're looking at how these players are executing the fundamentals, right? And that's what's going to give us a really good idea of what to expect come week 1 in just a couple weeks, like Jose says. Let's see, sort of fixed. So again, guys, this is preseason here. We got kinks ourselves. We got to work out. I'm just keeping you guys on your toes and seeing if you catch that I started the wrong show on purpose. No. Okay, so running back battle, guys. We kind of covered that. Big thing. Look, 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥𝐠𝐚𝐭𝐞 just has not shown anything of value in the last 2 preseason games. We can go back and look at some of the stats here. Last week, I think he got an average of 2.2 yards per carry. So we'll pull that up here. 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥𝐠𝐚𝐭𝐞, 9 carries, which was the second most amount of carries behind Blake Watson, who had 10. Blake Watson had 10 carries for 34 yards, averaging 3.4. Yeah, that's not a bad number. It's not great by any means, but if you can get more than 3 yards on a run play per average, that's acceptable, right? Then you go down to 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥𝐠𝐚𝐭𝐞, who had 9 carries and only 20 yards, 2.2. No, now maybe he just had a bad game last week, right? Let's go back to the 49ers game really quickly and see what that looked like. But I can tell you that we know it wasn't much better. Looking at 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥𝐠𝐚𝐭𝐞 in the first preseason game against the 49ers, 7 carries for 25 yards. Oh, no, that's RJ Harvey. 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥𝐠𝐚𝐭𝐞, 8 carries for 21 yards, 2.6 yards per carry. And so you go from 2.6 to 2.2. Man, that is not giving the coach any reason to keep you on this team. Again, you look at Tyler Bidet in the first preseason game, 5 carries for 32 yards, averaging 6.4 yards per carry. Blake Watson, 4 carries, 28 yards, 7 yards per carry on average. So again, you're looking at this and saying, 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥, do you just not want to be in blue and orange anymore? Like, we can go back and wonder, like, did 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥 do something to piss off Sean Payton at the end of last season? Maybe not. We don't know, and we will never know. But then you look at what he's doing now, and he's being given plenty of opportunity to make a name for himself and to say, coach, this is why you need to keep me. This is why you need to, have me as part of this roster in some capacity, but he just ain't doing it. He just ain't doing it. And to me, it's, you could say, is it lowering his value to where teams won't even want to trade for him? Probably. But you don't know. Like, there could be some desperate team out there that sees the potential that 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥 has. And I believe 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥 still does have a lot of potential. He just might need to be in a different system, be a part of a different team, and get a fresh start there. Right. And then we see him go and have a really fruitful, positive career there. But it just does not look like it's going to be with the Broncos. So unless 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥 goes out there today and just trucks people over, there's absolutely no chance he's making this team. I'm saying even practice squad. I think you're going to sign Blake Watson to the practice squad over 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥. Maybe if 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥 makes it through the waivers, you make room for him on the practice squad just to, have some extra depth there at running back. But it's not looking good for him, guys. Not looking good. Okay, keep the comments and questions coming in, guys. I want to hear what you have to say before the game starts here. Let's look at another thing that we're looking at between Jaquan Davis and Courtney Jackson. So these two players are both undrafted rookies, right? So the Broncos do have this history behind us. And it's a really cool history where, every year it seems like, and this isn't planned. This is just, we find good talent when it comes to being undrafted rookies and bring out the best in them. Some of the biggest, some big name players for the Broncos. I think, was it not Champ Bailey? Can't remember the guy's name. But we also know Chris Harris Jr., undrafted rookie, right? And he worked his way up from getting onto the team to running special teams to being probably a future Hall of Famer player, at least somebody that they can consider to be put in the Hall of Fame because of what he did as part of the no-fly zone defense. So it's always cool to see these battles between undrafted rookies, who's going to make it and what can we do there. But, bottom line is both these guys are playing really well. And so for Jaquan Davis here, let's go back to Jaquan Davis in the first game against the 49ers, 1 reception for 14 yards. Okay, not bad. Courtney Jackson, 2 receptions for 9 yards. Okay, on 4 targets though. So Courtney Jackson caught 2 balls on 4 targets. Jaquan Davis was 1 for 1. And then if we go back again to last week against the Cardinals, we can pull up that and see how those guys did. And we're looking at, let's see here. Jaquan Davis, again, 1 reception on 2 targets, but for 11 yards. And then we're looking at Courtney Jackson, had 2 targets for and 2 receptions on those 2 targets for 32 yards. So these guys are really kind of battling it out, right? And they're going to be depth players, right? They might have more just of a special teams kind of vibe to them when it gets to the start of the season. But, it's something that you want to have. You want to have these depth players that can go out there and you can trust, you can throw the ball to them and they can make a play. So really we're looking, looking to see, are you hearing Jackson's name a lot? Are you hearing Davis's name a lot? Are they doing good things? But I wouldn't be surprised if you see them get a lot of looks in the later part of the game, second half especially, if not going into the second quarter there, to kind of help solidify who is going to make the roster and who is not. So good question there. Let's see. Yeah, guys, let's hit the like button, follow button, share button, all those buttons. They give me a warm fuzzy when you hit those buttons for me. I get a spidey sense that says, oh, we have another follower. Oh, we got another like. And I'm not saying my whole happiness in life is built around you guys liking and subscribing and following. But I will say when you don't do that, I do cry myself to sleep very dramatically too. It's a big event. I have to just work up the energy for it, and just it's a whole thing. So appreciate everybody tuning in and enjoying the show so far. So keep letting me know what you guys think about the game coming up here in 40 minutes. All right. We're looking at tight end, Caden Prieskorn. This guy, could very well be somebody that flies under the radar. We didn't hear about him too much during training camp, but we've seen him look good, at least fairly good in the preseason games so far. So again, last week, let's see, Prieskorn, 3 receptions on 3 targets for 52 yards. That's good. Like, that's what you want. You want a guy, and Prieskorn is somebody who can definitely block better than Evan Ingram can. We don't want Evan Ingram out there blocking, right? We want him out there running the routes because he has the ability of getting open in the middle of the field and turning what could be a check down into a major gain. So we want these other tight ends to be out there. Yes, we want them to have some sort of catching ability, but more we're looking at the blocking. But if they can block and catch, that's a really positive right now, because here's the thing, guys. And I've heard other people say this, and I totally agree with what they're saying. If and God forbid this happens, knock on wood, Evan Ingram goes down, we're screwed at the tight end position. We really kind of reset ourselves back to last year with not having any real good tight end for pass catching ability anyway. Blocking ability, we'd be okay, but it takes away a threat that the opposing defense really has to worry about. And so this kind of position is looking like it could be very vital to the team, right? And so we need somebody like Prieskorn to step up and make a big name for himself, have a big showing today to kind of give him that confidence and secure a spot for himself on the roster as well. Let's see. Jose brings it up, and I think I had it for later, but we'll talk about it right now. So last Wednesday, if you guys have been living under a rock, I'm here to tell you right now, Devon Bailey was traded to the New Orleans Saints. So he'll probably not play today. He might, but I know he was kind of battling some sort of injury. I don't know what's happening with that, but big kudos to the Broncos front office. I mean, the fact they were able to turn the 7th round pick from last year into a 4th round pick and a 7th round pick is pretty awesome. And you can say, well, 7th round pick, like that doesn't mean anything. Look at some of the late round picks that we've gotten lately and how well the Broncos have drafted since George Paton came in and took control of the team here. This team we have seen over the last 4 years be built up through the draft, and that's exactly what this team needed. And again, I'll say this, as much good as John Elway did for the Broncos organization, both as a player and a GM, we would not have gotten Peyton Manning in Denver had it not been for John Elway. So I can never fault him for that and the good things that he did for the Broncos. However, John Elway could not draft to save his life. He just couldn't. And then his approach to building the team, especially after Super Bowl 50, it was almost like he was so hungry for another Super Bowl that he lost sight of what the situation truly was. When you lose a Peyton Manning, once in a generation kind of a player, you have to rebuild through the draft. You can't just purely rely on free agents to keep your team going. And so what we saw was after 1 year, 1 year after Peyton Manning, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, we were in this mindset of we are only 1 or 2 pieces away from getting back to the Super Bowl. And that just was not the case. And so we're spending all of our money, all of our time, all of our efforts and energy on finding these free agents that more often than not already had a history of injuries and getting injured multiple times. And so we bring them to the Denver Broncos and we see them get injured again, and they're like surprised. Like, well, what did you expect? And so the Broncos just continually kept falling back. And, every step forward they took, there's 2 or 3 big steps backwards. And with George Paton now running the show, we see that mindset is completely shifted. We don't need to necessarily go out and get big name free agents. Yes, you can fault George Paton on the Russell Wilson trade and debacle, but look at all the other good things that Sean Payton has, or that George Paton has done for the organization since he came in. Look at the draft classes that we have had. You know, there were so many years in the 2010s there, the later part of 2010s, that entire draft classes that we had within 2 or 3 years were just gone. None of them remained on the Broncos. Maybe onesie twosie, but that is not the recipe for building a successful team, guys. So look, Devon Vele, a lot of promise. I was a big fan of his. I think, you know, had he been able to stay with the Broncos, he could have done a lot of good there. But we got to wonder why we were willing to trade. The fact that we were willing to trade him tells me that we were about to cut him. And so there were probably some injury concerns. There was probably, honestly, a lack of performance concerns because we really hadn't heard anything positive about Devon Vele throughout all of training camp. So what was he doing, right? This was his chance to step up and really solidify. I mean, that second wide receiver spot was more or less his for the taking. Yeah, you have Marvin Mims there as well, but more or less, like, he had this chance to be one of the top wide receivers for the Broncos. And it seems like he just could not, for whatever reason, take advantage of that. And you have someone like Pat Bryant coming in off the draft here, and he's the one that's looking really good. He is the one that's making pro-level plays as a rookie out there. And it's not so much you can say, well, he's not really going up against, you know, starting defenses and stuff. Well, yeah, I get that. But you look at, you know, how Pat Bryant in last week's game caught the ball mid-air by turning and twisting his body and adjusting to where the ball was being thrown. You look at how Pat Bryant is finding ways to get open as the quarterback is starting to scramble or get out of the pocket. And so his football IQ just seems to be incredibly strong. And he's making these plays based off of fundamentals, based off of basics. And that tells me that Pat Bryant is somebody that can be really explosive, especially as he gets more and more experience the year goes on. I would not be surprised to see somebody like Pat Bryant at the end of the season just being one of the Broncos' top wide receivers. So really good there. Okay, Gary, thank you very much for taking care of that. The Halftime Hash Show is now actually going to be the Halftime Hash Show at halftime. So good stuff here at Bourbon Broncos and No B.S. as we have our own little mistakes to make and learn from. And every year, this is why we do it, guys. This is why we do it. Okay, we're about 30 minutes away from kickoff. So I'll go over a couple other things to watch out for here. And guys, again, keep posting comments, questions. Let me know what you guys have to say. People are wondering about Sam Ehlinger, if he's going to make his way onto the roster, and more or less he will, but as just the emergency quarterback. I don't see us wasting another spot on the roster as an actual roster spot. He'll be suited up, but he won't be counted as a rostered player. So to be honest, if people are wondering what's going to happen with Sam Ehlinger, you're going to see him signed to the practice squad, but he is going to be suited up on game days as the emergency quarterback. But with, man, you look at the way that Jarrett Stidham has been playing. Again, preseason, but this guy is just look. He has confidence. He looks like he has so much confidence. He knows the system. He knows the players around him. He knows how to read the field and how to extend plays. And that's what you want, and not turn the ball over. That's what you need from a backup quarterback. You need somebody who can go out there in a bad situation and just not be the reason you lose the game, right? You try to really utilize the defense to maybe kind of get you some points there, or kind of keep the other team at bay, and use your backup quarterback to not take any real risky chances, but just move the ball efficiently, not turn the ball over, and be confident with what he's doing. And Jarrett Stidham is really showing that he has the potential. He is doing that. So to have a backup in Jarrett Stidham, for me, guys, is just gives me a lot of really warm feelings. Jacob, how you doing, man? Glad to see you here as we are about 30 minutes away from kickoff. Guys, don't forget, we are live at halftime for every Broncos game. We are live. We are the original creators of the halftime show. And so this is don't watch anybody else's halftime show. This is the original. This is like, you don't want to go for the new product. You go back for the original because that's just the best, right? It's been around the longest, and I don't know. I just tuned my own horn over here. But also, guys, don't forget, once again, head on over to broncosandbourbon.com and join the game day chat over there in the fan zone section, so we can talk about the game as it's happening. Post your instant reactions, share your thoughts. If you have any questions, and we can talk about that, all that good stuff. So broncosandbourbon.com, sign up for free today. And again, everybody who signs up during this season, the 2025-26 season, will be automatically upgraded to the next level membership tier for free when we introduce those next season. At least that's the plan, is to introduce them next season. So once we do, you guys will be automatically upgraded to that as well. Make sure you're following us on Facebook and on YouTube and iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher for all of our other content that we put out throughout the week. We have our Monday night show at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. That's the post-game podcast live. So make sure you tune in Monday nights at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And then every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we have our original flagship show, the Bourbon, Broncos, and No B.S. So tune in for that as well. Let's see, Angelo, is it new? No, it is not new, but normally we have other people up on here on the stage, and so it cuts down on my video, so you only kind of get this view right here. So not new, it's powered by Mile High Magic. We'll just say that, Mile High Magic. Glad to see you here, Angelo. Always glad to see you in the chat. Let's see, any other names that look interesting. I am interested to see, we're going to look and see how RJ Harvey does. Expect to see him get several carries as well. But on defensive side of the ball, let's see, going through the list here. 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥𝐠𝐚𝐭𝐞 has a chance to make the team here. We're going to see how he does. Jonah Ellis, this guy is really stepping up. And when you're looking at the depth we're going to have when it comes to pass rushers, holy crap. Like, defense, other teams are going to look at are already looking at our defense saying, we don't want to play these guys. Mahomes, Herbert, whoever the quarterback is now in Las Vegas, punk ass, whatever. They're looking at the Broncos saying, yeah, I don't want to play these guys because they're going to be eating turf, for an entire Sunday's worth of game when they play the Broncos. It's going to be tough on these guys, and that's the way it needs to be. So if the defense goes out there and performs like we expect them to, we're going to have a damn good year, guys. Damn good year. Michael's in the chat. Glad to see you here, buddy. As always, I should have brought that up as well, but good to see you here, man. We're getting ready to head on over and get ready for the game today. So let's see, any other closing thoughts here? Let's see, roster projections. We're going to go through this really quickly. And again, guys, we'll have a final roster projection as part of the post-game podcast show on Monday night. And then when it comes to our show on Tuesday, we will know who our 53-man roster is. So make sure you tune in on Tuesday, especially because we will know exactly what the roster is, what it looks like. Obviously, we'll have to go through the conversation of who we think is going to make it to the practice squad, make it through the waiver wire. But that's going to take a couple extra days from there. So, but getting the 53-man roster in place is a big thing for us because we just have a lot of talent. And there are a lot of really difficult decisions here that Sean Payton and company are going to have to make. Like they're in for some really tough days starting as soon as they fly back from New Orleans today. Tomorrow and Monday, I don't know if they're going to get any sleep because there is just some real potential here for some of these players. Let's see. Look for the name Michael Brandy, who's fighting for a wide receiver spot behind Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, and Trent Sherfield as well. So there's a little bit of a battle there between Trent Sherfield and Michael Brandy. Now, this this kind of situation does declutter a little bit with the trade of Devon Bailey down to the Saints. But this is still a really good, I think, position group that has some depth. And so when you hear other people in the NFL talking about, oh, the Broncos don't have any wide receivers outside of Courtland Sutton. And first off, they're forgetting Marvin Mims. They're totally discounting the potential that Troy Franklin has and what we've seen from him in preseason as well. Troy Franklin, if you guys haven't drafted your fantasy leagues yet, this is a guy that you could really watch for. To see if he's available in those late rounds to be a pickup. But he's making a lot of noise out on the field, and a lot of people are starting to take notice of maybe this is a guy that I want to draft. So and then you add Pat Bryant into this mix. Like, this is a wide receiver room that has the potential to allow Bo Nix to really spread the ball out and not just rely on Courtland Sutton, right? And kind of free up the attention Courtland Sutton does, because the opposing defenses are going to have to really watch all these other receivers now and really game plan and scheme against all these other players. And that's just going to help out Courtland Sutton even more. So it's going to be fun, guys. Jacob asks, lots of estimate today. Probably. You'll see him get what we saw from the last couple games here. So looking back at the rushing last time, 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥 got 9 carries. Blake Watson got 10. And so those two were the ones that had the most carries. So yeah, especially in the second half of the game here, expect to see a lot between Blake Watson and 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥. Now, if Estime is already being, they're already planning on cutting him, you may not see much of him because they've already kind of made up their mind from what they've seen in the first two games. But I would not be surprised to see him get another 9 to 10 carries. But the problem is, in the first preseason game, like we were talking about earlier, he only had 2.6 yards per carry on average. Last week, he only had 2.2. So he's going to have to go out there and just show that he can run people over. But again, like, is it too late? Because part of this is we're looking for consistency. And if you go from 2.6 to 2.2 to 4.5, well, who's to say in the next week you're not going to go down to 1.6? I'm just making up numbers at that point, but right. So 𝐓𝐚𝐢𝐥 just has not done anything to give himself a reason to stay on this team. And it sucks because I think the potential is there, but he ain't showing it when it matters. Let's see. Michael says, I want to see the first team play a lot better than they did in the first appearance. Yeah. So again, we're expecting them to have 10 to 12 plays, and that's fine, right? They don't need to be out there the full first half or anything like that. But the thing is, we need to see them be a lot more consistent, because otherwise it's just going to dominate the headlines for the next 2 weeks about how bad the Broncos offense looked and how concerned do we need to be. And I don't want to make those videos, guys. I don't want to bring up those topics, right? I want to go out there and say this Broncos offense looked really clean, really crisp. They were on the same page. But you also got to look at more than just the play. How do they communicate? Do they get out of the huddle in time? Does Bo Nix read the defense well? Can he adjust plays well? Can he at least put the ball on target, right? And the problem we saw with Bo Nix in the first game was a couple of very, severely underthrown balls. And then he took that safety as well. Now, I don't expect to see him take another safety this season. I think that's something that he's really going to take a look at and be much more mindful of. But there was some, it seemed like there was a lot of pressure getting to Bo Nix too. And teams are blitzing, right? They're only sending 4 players, 4 defensive players to the quarterback. So why would there be a lot of pressure going towards Bo Nix in those situations, to where he's in a situation that he has to make a bad throw in the end zone and cause a safety? So lots of things there outside of just Bo Nix, right? But in general, these guys do need to step up and they do need to play a lot better, more so for our own comfort, but also so they can get some solid confidence heading into week 1 against the Titans. Now, playing Titans in week 1, we could sit here and say, well, week 1, anything could happen. And that's true, right? You never know, but it's also the Titans, and the Titans just do not scare anybody this year. They're more pipsqueaks than Titans. I am ready to make a video about that going into week 1. So just watch out for it, guys. Anyway, well, thank you for joining me for the tailgate talk here, guys. Big thing. There's a ton to watch for, a ton of these players. And again, just if you're sitting there saying, well, why do I need to keep watching after the starters are off the field? Again, this is the last time many of these guys will ever play football. They're just be cut. No team will want them, and they're not going to make it on the practice squad. And then they're going to go off looking for another career after this. So it's kind of a bittersweet moment for a lot of players out there on the field for both teams today. So just keep that in mind. Enjoy it, because, again, the next time you see the Broncos on the TV, it matters. Every snap matters. Every play matters. Every score matters. Every mistake matters. And all of a sudden, my blood pressure skyrockets for the rest of the season. So let's see. Angela, last comment of the day or of the morning here. I don't think Sean cares a lot about first team. He wants to get timing and his guys to game speed. Exactly. Right. And it's not to say that he doesn't care about the first team. I see what you're saying. He's not worried about them. Neither am I. Right. What you're seeing the offense do today, what you saw the first team offense do against the 49ers, is not the actual playbook. Right. It's not the Sean Payton system that we're installing this year. That we're going to see in week 1. So we're looking again, like you said, get them to game speed. Work on those things like communication in the huddle. Do they get to the line of scrimmage in time to allow Bo Nix to make the reads that he needs to make any adjustments he needs to make, and then still snap the ball in a timely manner? How does that stuff go? That's the bigger thing there. So get them a little loosened up, ready for week 1, right? But don't keep them out there any longer than you absolutely need to, because it's not worth the injury risk. So again, we're not going to see much from them, but we will see a little bit. And if they go out there on the first drive and score a touchdown, they're probably done. They're done for the day. And we can feel good about that going into the next 2 weeks, because we don't have to hear about, any offensive troubles from the Broncos like we did the last 2 weeks. So, again, so thanks for finding us today, guys. If you saw the halftime show pop up early in the morning, I apologize. That's going to be like Bo Nix's safety. Okay. I'm not going to let that happen again. Mistakes were made, and I could blame somebody. That's not me, but that would just be a lie. So appreciate you guys tuning in. The show at halftime will be appropriately labeled the halftime show, and we'll go from there. So anyway, guys, you take care. You have a good rest of your day. We'll talk to you at halftime. And then don't forget, Monday night at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, we are live as well. So with that being said, guys, make sure you head on over to broncosandbourbon.com. Go over to the game day chat. I'll be there keeping tabs on it and sharing thoughts and whatnot throughout the game. But we're going to have a good time and just be happy that Broncos are on TV. Football is back, and we have something to talk about. So it's always a pleasure being here with you guys. And let's get at it, guys. Kickoff in 15 minutes. It is time. So as always, we are here to we're here to talk about it. We're here to be friendly and have good time and just bring people together. But man, oh man, I got nothing left to say other than end the show as we always do on a very strong Go Broncos. Take care, everyone. See you at halftime.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a